What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to discuss what I personally think the Chicago Bulls need in this upcoming off-season heading into next season. Now, with all that being said, by needs is not necessarily targeting players. I just think it's needs in general. These needs could be decision-making processes. These needs could be acquisition of coaches. These needs could be certain just changes within the organization to make this Bulls team not only more exciting next season, but also a team that could be seen as a potential prospect for free agents, a potential prospect for draft prospects, a potential prospect for any talent that wants to come here and make a difference to the Chicago Bulls. There are certain changes and certain needs that need to be met. So with that being said, I do want to talk about some of them, not all of them, because I think with an organization like the Chicago Bulls, I think there's too many needs that won't be met within a year. It's just as simple as that. Right now, when you're kind of in that 10-seeded position, and we've been there for the past 3 seasons, there's a lot of needs for the Bulls. But we need some of them to go our way next season if we're going to be just as exciting as how we were towards the end of the season. So without further ado, let's get started. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and what specific needs do you think the Bulls need to pursue in this upcoming off-season free agency period, and just structurally as well. There's a lot to discuss in this regard, but to keep it simple to begin with, I am going to talk about specific player needs, and I think this one is very clear and very obvious. We are at the point now where going younger is beneficial for us, and I do think we need to be targeting a young center that could be at least the potential to be a starting caliber center in this league. Now, focus on those words. I didn't say we need to do it from the draft. Just a heads up there. I will have to make a video about what we should be doing for the upcoming NBA draft. But at the end of the day, whether we get it from the draft or we get it from free agency or we sign it from EuroLeague, wherever it may be, wherever that talent may be, we need to sign someone that could potentially be a starting caliber center for the Chicago Bulls that fits the timeline in which we have currently gone with. Nikola Vucevic is a great talent. He's a great player. I've talked about him a lot over the past couple of days. Or to be honest, it's one day I've talked about him a lot. But over the space of when these videos are released, I've talked about him a lot within these last couple of days. But at the end of the day, the Bulls probably do need to make a decision about letting him go and how that is going to look. So if we get a trade that brings in a young caliber center with the potential to be a starting caliber center in this league, we should be pursuing that. If we do end up, getting a draft pick, a high draft pick in the NBA draft, and the center is the best option available, we should be going for that. Or even a power forward with the potential to play center as well. We need to be looking into these things. A timeline is very important. And yes, you do need veterans in this team, and Vucevic is a great veteran to have. And even if we do get a starting caliber center into the team, it doesn't necessarily mean we need to get rid of Vucevic straight away, because he will have qualities that I think any player in this league would like to learn from him. But with all that being said, you do have to start looking at that future, and players-wise, I do think we need a big man. I'm not saying we need a rim protection big man. I'm not saying we don't need a rim protection big man. There are specific needs, sure, that we could use. But right now, you need to pick a center that we can roll with for the next few years as a starting caliber center. You look at all the teams in the playoffs, there are a lot of young centers out there that have solidified their spot for a variety of reasons. It's not just rim protection, because I know a lot of Bulls fans want rim protection, and that's all that they want. These days, centers are more than just a rim protector. So you do need someone that's going to be a rebounder. You do need someone that can spread the floor a little bit. You do need someone that at some point can maybe develop a little bit of a ball handling type of situation. It's always good to have versatile players in the team. And at the center position, that's kind of where the norm is now. Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama, even guys like Şengün. These guys are known for their versatility more than anything. They're not just rim protectors. So it's important to kind of go for that big man, in my opinion. And the Bulls should be pursuing that. But taking a step away from specific needs, because there's going to be needs everywhere. I still think we're going to need more three-point shooting. We're going to need more perimeter defense. We're going to need a whole lot more of everything. All that is very fine and good. But taking a look away from the actual court itself, We need a clear structure of what our development is going to be looking like in the near future. The letting go of Peter Patton is a big deal for the Chicago Bulls. But what we don't know now is how that development structure is going to go. And I hope when the next time we see AK and the Bulls front office, we could get that question asked about what is our development scheme going to be looking like? How is this Bulls team going to prioritize the development of these young players that so desperately need it? Because that's where we are left in the dark. You could say that there are assistant coaches that are going to be developing these players. You could say we're potentially looking for a replacement. But at the end of the day, we don't know anything about the Bulls' development scheme at the moment. We have ideas, we have ways it could work, but we don't know the direction. And I think a clear direction is not only going to be beneficial for us fans, but it will clearly be beneficial for the players as well. This is their careers on the line at the end of the day. And development, they're putting a lot of trust in our organization to develop them and to develop this team with them in mind. So it's very important. And there's no way we don't get better if we don't have a clear development structure in place. So we need that. And I hope we could get answers in that regard. The third thing I think we need to do, and it's kind of in a similar process here, we need to, I guess, fully, whether it's replacing the coaching staff or keeping the coaching staff, we need a clear identity in our coaching staff. We kind of started this progress last year when we signed a lot of veteran assistant coaches and we kept Billy Donovan. That was our clear indication of what this Bulls team is planning. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we should fire Billy Donovan. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we should keep Billy Donovan. But what I will tell you is we need a clear identity in that regard as well. And if we're going to make a change, if we are going to fire Billy Donovan and hire a coach, pretty much that needs to be done very quickly. I'm not saying it needs to be done now, but once the season is over, once the champions are crowned, and once we kind of get things into fruition, I think we need a fully in place coaching and assistant coaching team before we actually sign players. Because you could go and sign the best player in the world, right? But what if that coach doesn't know how to use him? Let's just say you go and get a Giannis Antetokounmpo, but you trade for a coach that has no idea how to use him, or you get rid of Billy Donovan and you bring in a coach that has no idea how to use him. Sure, we could figure it out along the way, but it isn't ideal. At the end of the day, you do need a coach that you can fully trust, fully support, and fully back with the players in mind that that coaching staff would want. So that is another thing we desperately need, and it could be as simple as doing nothing. Maybe we already have that in place, but it's important to know. We shouldn't be signing players straight away without a clear coaching staff in place that can help them in that regard. So it's important. It is very important and a very, very big need with this Bulls team. And I guess the last thing that we do kind of need is we need a potential direction in free agency. Now, the draft is its own separate identity, but in free agency, we could go so many routes. We could go down the younger path and just sign young talents with the potential to grow. We can go and sign some veterans and maybe bring the age of this team up again. Maybe we do pull our luck and sign a superstar or trade for a superstar. And in that regard, you need to build a team around that superstar. So I think a clear vision and structure for free agency has to be the goal. And out of all the things that is currently happening, I'm very confident that is the thing that we have in place at the moment. That is the thing the Bulls are focusing on right now. They are looking at free agency targets, trade opportunities to kind of pick their direction. But what is that direction? The Bulls fans won't know. We do not know. I wouldn't have a clue what the Bulls are thinking about in free agency and the direction they go down. And the most important thing about something like that, it can change with a click of a finger. It really, really can. If Giannis becomes available and wants to join the Bulls, you can't tell me that all the players they have in place today doesn't get thrown out the window to try and go and get a Giannis Antetokounmpo. You can't tell me that. Or any sort of superstar at this point that could come to this Bulls team. There would be at least an interest there and something that could definitely change game plans. We have to obviously be aware of that, but the most important thing is just having the clear structure to begin with and then let the flow happen. Very similar to Lonzo Ball. He's the prime example of this. We wanted Lonzo Ball well before free agency began. Heck, we got caught tampering with Lonzo Ball well before free agency began. So They clearly had a structured in mind of what point guard they wanted and what free agency targets to pursue. So it's important to get that done early because as soon as free agency begins, the list of players that are available very quickly declines and players re-sign or players sign with new teams. Everybody tampers at the end of the day. You can't tell me no one tampers. So you got to be ready for that. You got to be prepared. I hope the Bulls could get that done. But yeah, what do you guys think? What are our needs? I'm sure there's more. Heck, there might be enough to make a part 2 to this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.